loves to love on people. Just be ready, because he's hyper, he's still happy. And he's pooping right now. Well, it's a gorgeous day outside. I'm sure a lot of people are doing different things out there. I also know that there's a baby shower going on in Fairhaven today that involves a bunch of the women from here, so that's okay. They can still go to heaven and all that. So, hi, Sean. Anyway, we just want to welcome you this morning, and we're going to sing and just praise God and learn something from Him today, like we always do. And it doesn't matter if there's one of us or 100 of us. So. Okay.
Sorry, we were talking about something else. Don't mind that.
He never pays attention to me. He never has.
What?
Well, join us. We're going to sing with a little help from my friends, which I absolutely believe is true. So.
Let me figure it out first.
Okay. You knew
the test I'm taking and the doctor says I've only got a few months left. It's like a bitter pill I'm swallowing, I can barely take a breath. When addiction steals my baby girl, then there's nothing I can do. My only hope is to trust you. I trust you, Lord. In the eye of the storm, you remain in control. And in the middle of the war, you guard my soul. You alone are the anchor when my sails are torn. Your love surrounds me. In the eye of the storm, you remain in control. And in the middle of the war, you guard my soul. You alone are the anchor when my sails are torn. Your love surrounds me. In the eye of the storm.
We have a lot of storms in life, don't we? Things that just come up out of nowhere, and next thing you know, it's like, all right, what do we do now? How many people have been boating before? You're out on the water, you think everything's good, and all of a sudden, here comes the storm. It's like, where do we hide? What do we do? There's nowhere to go. And then you see the one island, and you go, if we get behind that, maybe. Life doesn't give us warnings. It does give us heads up, I think, sometimes. Maybe we ignore them too much. But when the storms come, we always know that there is the fortress. That God has never left us. Maybe we've taken our eyes off of Him, but He's right there. So this morning, as we continue to worship, and I don't know if Laurie is even here. Oh, there she is. Announcements-wise.
Just, if you haven't joined up onto the Slack, which is the app, our church app that kind of tells you what's going on, talk with me after because I can send you an invite so you can join it. Because we will be putting up some announcements pretty soon. We got a few things left to do in here, like get the chandeliers to the right height and in the right spots, and the bathrooms again is the big one that we're looking for. So.
Cool. So there's things to be done. Get on Slack, and we will be able to get in touch with it. And the beautiful thing about that is if you look at it, you go, not for me, just ignore it. You know, if you can be a help, boom, jump in. So
What's with the name Slack?
Slack. Well, it's not Slack.
Don't be a slacker. Don't be a slacker. Don't be a slacker.
So, and in all fairness to Slack, it's not our app, it's their app. We're just using it. So, anyway, but this morning we have the distinct privilege of having Kyle come and share what God has put on his heart. And the beautiful thing is, he called me and says, I think I have something to say. I think God's speaking to me. So I like when that happens because it means God's got something to say. So please listen this morning, give your attention. And I know that God's going to speak to us through Kyle. Thank you, buddy.
Good morning.
Oh, turn you on already, sorry.
Good morning, everybody. So, like you mentioned, he asked me once in a while, like, oh, when do you want to speak? When do you feel ready? And randomly out of the blue, I was like, I think I got something to say. More so, I think God has something to say. But it was during the move process, which everybody knows is just such a wonderful thing. Moving from one house to another, it's just very enjoyable. And things were going on, we're packing, we're doing all these things. And it snapped, just like a light bulb went off. Just like a light bulb went off in my head. And as I was packing and as things were kind of looking disastrous in our house, we had like certain rooms that were still semi-organized or livable. And I had a dinner with my wife. I made dinner for my wife, and I was on Instagram, and I took a picture of the dinner. Of course, I'm like setting up the forks and making everything look good. I take a picture, and I take another picture, and another picture, and another picture at a different angle, different angle, different angle, different angle, different lighting, different colors, different filters. Now I have 35 pictures in my phone of a bowl of ramen noodles.
Mine was already gone.
And I posted the one picture to Instagram with the perfect lighting and everything organized on the plate, and everything was perfect. And in that moment, that was when the light bulb went off in my head. And with all this social media that we have, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, everything, MySpace, if anyone uses that anymore, I realized that Christians, as a whole, were the first ever entity to do what Instagram and what Facebook and what Snapchat and what all those apps do for our lives. Right? We were the originals on that, right? We went to church in our Sunday best and our three-piece suit and holding hands with our wife, holding hands with our husband. Everybody smiling and laughing and joking and praising the Lord and raising our hands. And everybody was like, oh man, I don't know if I can be that good of a Christian, right? And we're looking at each other and we're comparing ourselves to this vision that's not reality, right? We're like, I need to be like him, and he's just as bad as you are outside of church, right? We're comparing ourselves to something that's not even real, not even attainable. So, with that, let's put the first video up.
We need some sound.
Instagram is not necessarily reality. You have a beautiful beach, and then you have a typhoon. No one wants to hear about the mud that we're trudging through and the trash that we're passing by on the streets. We're having this fantastic day at the elephant sanctuary, taking care of these magnificent elephants all day, but what the picture doesn't show you is that there's giant elephant poops floating by you as you're trying to clean the elephant. So we're just laughing hysterically the whole time because we're like, what are we doing? We're swimming with elephant poop.
So the pictures from Hallam Bay are stunning, but behind the scenes, we were on a junk cruise to take it. And a junk cruise is basically a boat that probably should have been retired about 20 years ago. It's barely floating. And there's rats that were eating the elastic to my underwear and to my sports bra, like out of our backpacks. The photos were so glam, but like the actual experience, not so much.
I was in Cairo and had the most amazing meal of my entire trip. What you don't see from the picture is the terrible food poisoning that I got that put my friend in the hospital with an IV. But the picture was too beautiful not to post, so I had to post it. Hashtag food fail.
We have some great pictures from India, but what they don't show you is trying to get around in India. And when you're in the taxi car and the car starts taking on this horrible street water that's polluted, and you're so uncomfortable, you start trying to throw yourself out of the car into the 4 feet of disgusting water. The pictures don't show that.
I have this photo that got a ton of likes. That is me in an Everest t-shirt drinking an Everest beer on the Everest Base Camp trek with Mount Everest behind me. But what you don't see is the fact that I had to wake up before dawn. I was freezing and I had to carry that beer with me for 2 weeks to have it in the photo.
We arrived in Vietnam, in Da Nang, in the middle of a typhoon and went straight to the hotel. I was in the hotel for 2 days, and there was like basically an hour where we could go walk on the beach and get the best pictures that we could.
I have these amazing photos of me at Angkor Wat, and it's like, oh, it's amazing. In reality, like I was so hungover, the struggle was real that day. But you cannot tell in any of the photos because I only took it from the back. That's how we did that.
Doesn't that sound about right with our lives all too often? I ended up getting a hard time from my wife when it happened because I actually showed it to her foolishly the day I did it. And then I just showed my parents. I didn't show them that they saw it this morning when I told them to show me it on the computer. And then my dad saw it, and then he got really upset because he worries about me and he loves me. And This next video, I'm okay. See, look at, I'm walking, everything's fine. This happened a long time ago, so I'm okay. I did not get hurt, luckily by the grace of God. But, before you play it, right, this is kind of just like a funny, kind of silly way to talk about it. But, with our lives like this, when we see everyone else as this perfect couple, or this perfect pastor, these perfect people, these perfect Christians, we try so hard to grasp that life because we want to be even better, right? And we're trying so hard in things that we aren't good at, or things that we can't handle. And the people that we're trying to attain that lifestyle, that's not even their lifestyle. They're showing you something that's not even possible to grasp, because they're only showing you these tiny little glimpses when they put the show on. So we're all comparing ourselves to things that aren't there, right? So watch this video. This is me doing something stupid in the gym, trying to post it on Instagram.
Oops, sorry. Where is it? Wow.
Actually,
Where'd it go? Where'd it go?
That's the view from my eyes right there.
See, God doesn't want your parents to see it again because it makes
He doesn't want Dad to say it again,
Amen.
that's for sure.
Amen to that.
Okay, let's try this again.
So, a little precursor to the video, I have a barbell on my back with way too much weight on it. And I'm trying to do a
Okay,
box jump
Ready?
onto that 24-inch box. At the end of the video, I got right up to the camera and I checked my teeth to see if I had them still. I had to cut that out. Isn't that life so many times over? Like, I'm trying to do something to impress people, to do something that gets likes, to look like a better athlete, to look more fit, right? To look like a better Christian. And I couldn't do it. And what if I did, right? And I caught that, and I posted that. And then the next jump after was that, but I only posted the one that I did. I didn't post the one where I almost broke my neck, right? So then if someone else sees that, I'm like, oh man, that guy's, holy crap, I wish I could do that. And then someone else does that, and then falls even worse than I fell. And that's the thing we talk about, right? The destruction of our true self for the sake of our perceived self. We're trying so hard to live up to these expectations that no one's living up to, instead of just being who we are as a person, right? Coming to everybody, coming to church just as I am. I'm a failure. I fail all the time. I'm not the best husband all the time. I'm not the best brother all the time. I'm not the best son all the time. Right? And when we come truthfully as ourselves, that's a release, for me at least. When I talk to Tim, and he's not like this propped up, perfect pastor that doesn't like whiskey or doesn't fail sometimes and doesn't struggle with his own marriage and raising his own children, I have confidence that I can walk up to him and talk to him about anything that's going on in my life because I know he's felt it. He's stumbled through those things. And when we have that,
I too did not make it to the top of the box.
yeah.
Just so you don't feel bad.
Just saying. Sorry.
And we think that like it's easier to like for people to come to us when we look good, like, oh, I'm a good example, so then it's easier for them to come to us and feel confident and talk. For me, it's the exact opposite. When I see your failures, when I see that you mess up, I feel so good that someone else is like me. And that's one of the biggest things that my parents did in my life. I remember my dad apologizing to me when I was like 7 for like stupid stuff. I'm like, you're my dad. I'm big, you're little, right? I'm right, you're wrong. That's it, right? A lot of people did that, but he didn't. My mom didn't do that either. They always admitted their failures. Everyone admitted their wrongdoings in our household. And that gave me confidence to go to people, right? And go to them, and that's what this place is, right? Like the video, the first time I spoke, the poet says, it's not a museum, it's a hospital for the broken, right? And too often we don't let it be that, right? So, this is from 2 Corinthians 1, verse 12. For this is our confidence. The testimony of our conscience is that we have conducted ourselves in the world, and especially towards you, with God-given sincerity and purity, not by fleshly wisdom, but by God's grace. And you can look at that verse however you want, right, and take it different ways, but how I take that is, I'm coming as I am, by grace, with my gifts and my failures, with my strengths and my weaknesses. I'm going to read a little story from this book. I don't know if anyone's heard of it. It's called Tell Me the Secrets by Max Lucado. I'll give you a little bit of background to this book. There's these children in this neighborhood that they're kind of, play buddies. They run around, getting into trouble, mischief. And they meet this man in this kind of like a creepy house. Old man, they don't know what's going on. The house is kind of confusing. It's like that old neighbor you want to know about him, but you don't understand him. You see like the weird things in his yard and all this stuff. And they end up befriending this man, and he kind of takes him under their wing, and they end up calling him Uncle. And he has this book, the Book of Secrets. And in this book, there's different lessons, there's stories that connect to what they're struggling with at that time in their life. And sometimes they come over to his house and he reads it to them. And in this instant, he actually allows this girl to take the book home. The Secret of Greatness. Shannon's day had been full of surprises. The first one came as she was leaving Josh's house. Carry this with you, he'd said, handing her the Book of Secrets and the key. Take it home. You may need it. And that's all he'd said. So as Shannon walked, she kicked the leaves and wondered what Josh knew that she didn't. He'd never entrusted her with this book before. He didn't even let her take it to share with her class at school. But now he wanted her to take it home. As she turned the corner toward her house, she saw the second surprise of the day. Her father's car was in the driveway. Wonder why he's home so early, she asked herself. She smiled. He's up to something. Shannon loved her father because he was so much fun. In the mornings, they'd put the breadcrumbs out for the birds. At night, he'd always have a story or a song. No matter how many times he'd fake bumping his nose on the wall, she still giggled. Some days, he'd surprise her by showing up at school cafeteria. One time, he tacked on the wall a list of all the people who loved her. She didn't know why he was home, but she was excited to see him. As she entered, she saw him in the study. Dad? He didn't look up. He was slouched in his office chair with his face in his hand, shaking his head. Dad? She asked, as she walked near. "Are you sick?" He still didn't respond. "What's wrong, Daddy?" He looked up with surprise. "Oh, Shannon, I didn't hear you come in." "What's wrong, Dad?" "Oh, it's nothing, honey. Tell me what happened." "Just some problems at work. Don't worry about it." "Daddy." Shannon stretched the word, using that "come on, let's talk" tone voice. He sighed and lifted her onto his lap. "Oh, it's the guys at work, Shannon. I really thought I was going to get a promotion." "A what?" "I thought I was going to get a better job. But the boss chose someone else instead of me." "Why?" "He says I'm not good enough, that I didn't have enough drive to get ahead." "What does it matter what he thinks, Dad?" "Well, it hurts when people say things like that. Remember when Jennifer didn't ask you to the slumber party?" "Yeah, I was the only one not invited. How did it make you feel?" Shannon thought for a moment and then answered, "Left out. That's how I feel. I've lost something that seemed important to me." For a few moments, neither of them spoke. Shannon just sat on his lap, looking out the window. She'd never seen her dad this sad. In fact, she didn't know grown-ups got this discouraged. Suddenly, she understood why Josh had loaned her the book. She got down and took it out of her pack. "I want to read you a story, Dad." "You want to read me a story?" "Yeah, it's one Josh showed me." She climbed back into his lap and began to read. This is the story of the Wemmicks. Just let it sink in and listen to the story and how true it is. The Wemmicks were small wooden people. Each of the wooden people was carved by a woodworker named Eli. His workshop sat on a hill overlooking their village. Every Wemmick was different. Some had big noses, others had large eyes. Some were tall and others were short. Some wore hats, others wore coats, but all were made by the same carver and all lived in the village. And all day, every day, the Wemmicks did the same thing. They gave each other stickers. Each Wemmick had a box of golden star stickers and a box of gray dot stickers. Up and down the street, all over the city, people could be seen sticking stars or dots on one another. The pretty ones, those with smooth wood and fine paint, always got stars. But if the wood was rough or the paint chipped, the Wemmicks gave dots. The talented ones got stars too. Some could lift big sticks high above their heads or jump over tall boxes. Still others knew big words or could sing very pretty songs. Everyone gave them stars. Some Wemmicks had stars all over them. Every time they got a star, it made them feel so good that they did something else and got another star. Others, though, could do little. They got dots. Punchinello was one of these. He tried to jump high like others, but he fell. And when he fell, the others would gather around and give him dots. Sometimes when he fell, it would scar his wood, so the people would give him more dots. He would try to explain why he fell and say something silly, and the Wemmicks would give him even more dots. After a while, he had so many dots that he didn't want to go outside. He was afraid he would do something dumb, such as forget his hat or step in the water, and then people would give him another dot. In fact, he had so many gray dots that some people would come up and give him one without a reason. He deserves lots of dots, the wooden people would agree with one another. He's not a good wooden person. After a while, Punchinello believed them. "I'm not a good Wemmick," he would say. The few times he went outside, he hung around other Wemmicks who had a lot of dots. He felt better around them. One day, he met a Wemmick who was like any other he'd ever met. She had no dots or stars. She was just wooden. Her name was Lucia. It wasn't that people didn't try to give her stickers, it's just that the stickers didn't stick. Some admired Lucia for having no dots, so they would run up and give her a star, but it would fall off. Some looked down on her for having no stars, so they would give her a dot, but it wouldn't stay either. That's the way I want to be, thought Punchinello. I don't want anyone's marks. So we asked the stickerless Wemmick how she did it. "It's easy," Lucia replied. "Every day I go see Eli." "Eli?" "Yes, Eli, the wood carver. I sit in the workshop with him." "Why?" "Why don't you find out for yourself?" Go up the hill, he's there. And with that, the Wemmick with no marks turned and skipped away. "But he won't want to see me," Punchinello cried out. Lucia didn't hear, so Punchinello went home. He sat near a window and watched the wooden people as they scurried around, giving each other stars and dots. It's not right, he muttered to himself as he resolved to go see Eli. He walked up the narrow path to the top of the hill and stepped into the big shop. His wooden eyes widened at the size of everything. The stool was as tall as he was. He had to stretch on his tiptoes just to see the top of the workbench. A hammer was as long as his arm. Punchinello swallowed hard. I'm not staying here, he turned to leave. Then he heard his name. My dad used to do this in a really deep voice when he read it to us in his kids. Punchinello, he would do. The voice was deep and strong. Punchinello stopped. Punchinello, how good to see you. Come and let me have a look at you. Punchinello turned slowly and looked at the large, bearded craftsman. You know my name? The little woman asked. Of course I do. I made you. Eli stooped down and picked him up and set him on the bench. The maker spoke thoughtfully as he inspected the gray circles. Looks like you've been given some bad marks. I didn't mean to, Eli. I really tried hard. Oh, you don't have to defend yourself to me, child. I don't care what the other women think. You don't? No, and you shouldn't either. Who are they to give you stars or dots? They're Wemmicks just like you. What they think doesn't matter. Don't you know? All that matters is what I think, and I think you are pretty special. Punchinello laughed. Me? Special? Why? I can't walk fast, I can't jump, my paint is peeling. Why do I matter to you? Eli looked at Punchinello, put his hands on those small wooden shoulders, and spoke very slowly. Because you're mine. That's why you matter to me. Punchinello had never had anyone look at him like this, much less his maker. He didn't know what to say. Every day I've been hoping you'd come, Eli explained. I came because I met someone who had no marks. I know, she told me about you. Why don't the stickers stick on her? Because she decided that what I think is more important than what they think. The stickers only stick if you let them. What? The stickers only stick if they matter to you. The more you trust my love, the less you care about their stickers. I'm not sure I understand. You will, but it will take time. You've got a lot of marks. For now, just come to see me every day and let me remind you how much I care. Eli lifted Punchinello off the bench and set him on the ground. Remember, Eli said as Mike walked out the door, you are special because I made you, and I don't make mistakes. Punchinello didn't stop, but in his heart he thought, I think he really means it. And when he did, a dot fell to the ground. Shannon looked up at her dad. He was smiling. How did you know I needed that, hear that? He asked. I didn't. God did. Well, I feel like Punchinello. When he was covered with dots, she asked. No, when the first one fell off. That is a children's story, but it's so powerful. I was going to try to read a little bit of it or read an excerpt of it, and I was like, that won't do it justice. I got to read the whole thing. I usually end up crying during sermons or when I speak. Big shock, because I'm a mushball with my mother. But when I'm trying to be a better husband than Josh, or a better father than my dad, or a better speaker than Tim, or a better athlete than somebody else, I get lost in my own gifts and the own things I offer, right? Instead, right, when we focus on what God has done for us, the grace He bestowed upon us, right, the sacrifice He made for us, I don't need to do anything other than what He's gifted me, right? I just need to be the best Kai. I just need to trust in the Lord and have faith that He will allow me to love my wife the way she deserves, and allow me to love my children the way they deserve. And when we come and we're transparent and we're open with each other and we show our flaws and we're not afraid to roll up our sleeves and show our bruises and our scabs and our cuts, the other person that thinks that they don't know what I'm going through, they wouldn't understand what I'm going through, so I just gotta keep it in. They wouldn't get it, they have a perfect life. It's not the case. It's not the case. People thought that. They say, oh man, you and Heather, you guys got the style, you got this, you got like, I'm like, you guys never fight. I'm like, we fight, right? But they think that, and then they don't think that I'll understand what they're going through. And it's when I say, you know what? No, I know what you're going through. And this is the part that's going to make me cry. I went to this house. Always comes back to work. I went to this house with this kid. His mother, he got kicked out of an after-school program, so he had to go home until his mom came home from work, which was like an hour and a half to 2 hours of a window where he was home all by himself, 14 years old, 13 years old. But his mom said, look, this is the guidelines. You have to do this, this, and this, and you can't do this, and this, and this. I need to make sure you're safe. So he didn't listen. He started cooking on the stove, all this stuff. She found out, very upset, they started arguing. So I had to go there. So I'm talking to kids like this, sitting on the seat, not looking at me, not talking to his mother, nothing. And I'm trying to talk to them and try to get them through their issues, which is crazy to me because I'm a 29-year-old man that has just been married for 1.5 years, and I'm trying to tell this mother of 40-something how to handle her child, and it's... Anyway, so we start talking, and I'm telling him about his mother, and what she wants to do is just to make sure that he's safe. And he's not listening to me. He's not even making eye contact with me. Then I remember those moments in my life, in my childhood, where I was like arguing with my parents for just like the stupidest things. Stupidest things. Like I was so like, oh, like why? Like so mad. Like I stuffed a tissue in a lamp because I wanted to take a nap, but I didn't want the light off. But my mom was like, you can't do that. And I'm like, and then of course the lamp's like smoking, right? But I thought I knew better. Right then, I looked at the kid and I started talking about me. I wasn't talking to him, I wasn't talking about his life. I started talking about my life. I started talking about my failures as a kid, as a son. And he started listening a little bit. And then he kind of connected with sports, and he said, oh, I don't play because I don't take direction and all this stuff. And then I remember when I was playing Pop Warner football, my dad got fired from being a volunteer head coach because they thought that he was favoring me, even though once he wasn't coaching, I was still the same player and did the same things that I did when he was there. But I was so upset, and I didn't play for, what was it, 2 weeks, Dad? 1.5 weeks? I didn't show up. I'm like, I'm not playing. And I let that take away from something I enjoyed. So then I started talking to him about that and the struggle that I had intrinsically with those things. And he started really paying attention to me now. He stood up, and I told him to pick, I said, stand up, and he's still like this. He's not like, he's kind of doing that. And now I'm in full uniform, I'm a police officer, I'm supposed to be a professional, I have a gun and a bag and all this stuff. Then I picked him up by his chin, and I looked at him. Oh. And I was like, I know where you're coming from. But your mother loves you. And I started breaking down just like I am now. He doesn't have a father. And he started to he saw it in my eyes that I knew what he was feeling. He grasped it. He didn't think it was just another guy just telling him like, oh, it's gonna be okay. He felt it. And I was like, you always have a friend. Here's my number, all this stuff. And he wrapped his arms around me, and he broke down and started crying. I don't even know this kid's name at this point in time. But for however brief that moment was, I don't know if he changed forever. The next day he fought with his mother the same way. But when I brought my flaws to the table, and my struggles to the table, and I opened myself up, the Lord allowed me to affect somebody for however brief a moment it was. Right? And if I was like, I gotta be a cop, I gotta be perfect, I gotta be professional, I can't cry, I can't say this, I can't talk about myself, it's all about you, it's all about you, what happened to you, what are you doing, what you need to do to fix it. And when I flipped that around, something clicked for that kid in that moment. And that is what this church is about, was about when it started, and needs to always be about. And that's the power of grace and the power of Jesus. Right? Is we come with our flaws, we come with our brokenness, and we pick each other up together. Because we know we can't do anything to make or break our love that Jesus has for us. Right? Can everyone bow their heads, please? Lord, we come all just like Punchinello. We're trying so hard to get the stars, to make us look like better Christians, better fathers, better mothers, better sons, better daughters. And the more we try, the more we fail, the more we stumble, and the more we get gray dots. When we realize that you are all that matters, and your love is all that matters, that first dot falls off, and we can truly live as the people and as the Christians that you have designed us to be. In Jesus' name, amen.
I saw there was no music set up, so I figured I'd come up and play, but just quickly to say that hopefully that hits you the same as it hit me. That we all have dots that we know. We don't wear them, people may not be putting them on us, but they're here. And as we share those, as you said, it's not like even putting a star on somebody. It's really about taking some of their dots off, because it cancels. And they go, oh, it's not just me. And in the place of those dots, God will put stars. And that's the beauty of it. So I thought of this song at the end. I'm not going to sing the whole thing, but I just thought this part here was something to end by. Let's see if I can remember to get into that part of it. Because when it's all been said, and it's all been done, you ask me, did you go my way, child? Did you know my son? When it's all been said, I'm just going to sing it. When it's all been done, you'll ask me, did you find your way within my son? And that song just really came out. If I can remember what key it starts in, it'd be a little better. But that song came out because really when it comes down to it, when it's all been said, what is it all about? It's what Jesus did for us. So as you go this week, keep in mind, we all have dots, but guess what? God's going to use those dots to remove the dots of others. And thank you for sharing that today, brother. Meant so much.